It was really hard on me, freshman and sophomore year. I think those were the worst. I had the worst times. I bet I did not feel like being here. And I couldn't tell that to my dad. And I kept that to myself. I remember freshman and coming in, I did not know any black people. Most of them were white, so I couldn't relate to their life, where they were coming from. I was coming from a different background. I was born in Nigeria. I'm African. It was totally different than going to Benedict, where you see people from African descent or Asian descent who spoke their language, spoke with their parents. In our dining hall, which is also known as our commons, I remember going in as a freshman, and it was just huge and massive. I remember just going there and just eating alone. Someone would come up to me and say, "Do you want to join us?" I would say, "I'm fine," because they were all whites, but I wasn't like that. So it was like I ate at this big table, ate quickly, and just left to go back to my room. So it took me time to kind of adjust, to make friends. Now I could do it. Then freshman year where I couldn't just do that. As a freshman, I took calculus 2 because I was well prepared from Doc Hannah's class, from Benedict's, from calculus 1 and pre-calc when we took those classes. So my freshman year at Bates, there was points in which I would go to chemistry class and I would just sit there and stare at the board and not understand anything. It was just so overwhelming. I may be good in lab. I knew I'm good in lab because my professor invited me as a freshman to work in the organic chemistry lab, and I enjoyed working in lab. But I feel like I'm more into the aspect of critical thinking, looking at the world. Freshman year, I had a roommate who went to a prep school also, but way different than Benedict's. Exeter Academy is a highly prestigious school. So because of the school, the history of the school we went to, I looked the school up actually, because I was just curious. I was like, wow. When he came to Bates, it's basically his whole life was kind of planned out. 2 different worlds. He has this whole life planned of his, knows various people in this company that does consultant for all companies and stuff like that. So, and he has all these connections. And here's Josh. Nope, Josh. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's Josh. Josh, don't know what he's gonna do with his life. Coming into Bates, African parents who wants him to be a doctor. 2 completely different people. So it was just like when I was struggling with chemistry, he was just doing his econ and math stuff, just flying by. If you didn't get an A, he would be so upset. If you got a B, he'll be really upset. So we're just 2 completely different side of worlds, to the extent that I thought that, am I even in the right place? What have I done with my life? I must be under a rock, not living life. Or I'm stubborn, just like my dad. My dad is stubborn, my mom is stubborn, and I just inherited that. Mainly from my parents. I can't just go up to my parents and say, I can't do this anymore. What would my parents say? I'll get smacked. I said, what are you saying? No way. I've given up all this time and effort. It came from Benedict saying, Benedict doesn't like a quitter, right? We always have the term. And I was just like coming in and say, I've gone through Benedict's, the reputation I've had at Benedict's, what's that gonna say of me when I go back and say, I quit and just give up? And then thinking about my parents, what they've given up, the struggle they've been through, sacrifices and all of that, saying, there's no way I'm gonna quit. And coming into Bates, I was thinking, to be able to compete with people here, you have to be 3 times better. And I know they are more privileged than most of us at Benedict had, and they had the drive and they had the parents who could actually sit down with them, certain do homework or stuff like that. I feel like it's been hard to be 3 times better than they are, because they just, I don't know, they've had the mindset to be able to click to the style of academic-wise thinking this way. And then for us, it's just, for me personally, and for many people, whoever, it's just time to adjust and get there. My dad is a very prayerful and not religious, but he had a really good relationship in terms of God, and he just prayed a lot. So when I first came to Bates, my parents were really imposing on me, you have to really find a church to go to and be able to do this and worship and stuff like that. But one of my friends invited me to go and said, oh, this chapel, it's at 5:30, and so let's go. So I said, okay, I'll go. And then at 5:30, I know this is just set aside for God. This is set aside for God where I could go serve Him and worship. So, and it's really great because you have people who are just like you, who just want to have the relationship with God and serve, and who are just willing, who want to find other people who are just like them so they don't feel alone. And I feel like it's helped me because I've had times a bit where socially it's not been great, or it's just been up and down, and being able to have the non-denomination church to go to as an outlet to kind of feed my spirit, to help me, it's been great. Doc has made a big influence on me also. It's been great, and I learned so much from him in terms of perseverance and just pushing. I remember Doc would shovel one lane of snow for us to practice, and we would be like, no way, we're not gonna practice, we're not gonna do it. But we would still do it. We know we would do it. We're just all complaining, and we would get so mad at Doc and say, no, we wouldn't do it. But I think through that of Doc doing that, it also pushed us. I was not the best cross-country runner. I pushed hard. And if you can't give up on those things, like those workouts, if you don't give up, and I went through it, I did it for 4 years. Even though it's not always in my mind, but there's this substance that I've gained from it that say, there's no way college is gonna make me to say, I'm gonna quit and just work out. I always tell this one story that what really got me interested was Mr. Austin and Mr. Sanchez from St. Benedict's. We took the creative process class, and it was incorporation of video, collaborating, theater, story making, and just being out there and being creative and artistic in your ways. And that really got me started into thinking about video. One of my friends, good friends on campus, and she told me that sophomore year that I was in the editing suite, editing videos, so I was spending more time producing videos and working on projects than I was doing my camp problem sets. So I felt like she was actually quite right, because that's really what I was leaning towards as a passion and really wanted to do. And so that's why I decided to declare a rhetoric major. So looking at the theory of all the production of documentary and films and criticizing them. Through my interest in film production and interest in film, I came to meet one of my good advisors on campus who I've really gotten close to. He's really mentored me in some way.
Great presence is the way I describe Josh. I mean, he is somebody who is full of energy. He comes in and works with other students and is frustrated sometimes when they are putting up barriers for themselves, because Josh doesn't see barriers. He comes in and he's like, I don't know how to do this, I'm gonna learn. But it's the fact that he's always trying and so enthusiastic about trying, and that's what really inspires other students and other faculty and staff. And he never quits, right? Like, he always comes in, and when things get harder, I feel like Josh is like 200%, where some people won't be like, I don't know if I can do this. He's like, no, I know I can do this. And the more you challenge him, the harder he works. And again, I think that's something he came in to Bates with. I mean, it must be related to, in part, his education in high school is, again, that belief that it's not just in a book. Josh is he's everything digital media here at Bates. When he leaves, everyone at Bates is going to feel the loss when he graduates. I think there's plans afoot trying to figure out a way to keep him here, and I'm like, I don't think we can. You can't bottle Josh.
Josh has been he's been a real nice part of our program, and a real enjoyable part from the first day he came in as a freshman, and kind of working through the process. He's demonstrated some significant ability, in the jumps particularly. He's always been willing to try to do whatever he could do. His attitude and energy is very high. His commitment to the team is very good. Guys love him. I love being around him. You look over and watch, that group practicing and training, and they're usually having a good time, but they're fully engaged in what they're doing, and I see Josh really contributing to that in a great way.
My roommate was a great kid. He had everything he ever wanted or could get, in life. And I'm like, I didn't have that. But I have my history, my background, what I've been through, the struggles my family has been through, the struggles I'm going to go through, and the perseverance and the passion and the mentality to say, I'm going to do this. This is what I want to do. I'm going to go, and this is what I'm going to do. No one can try and stop me. The motivation, the passion, it's all there. And that's what's going to move me along and going to take me where I want to go.